Okay, good day, guys. Good day to you all. Welcome back again to the Formula Sports channel. Thanks for being here. Knock up like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video as well. Boy, it's never a good feeling when any of our national teams get a dump up in a man. It's really and truly never a good feeling. A 5-0 defeat the Reggae Girlz would have suffered at the hands, or rather at the feet of the Americans. Difficult pill to swallow for sure for all Reggae Girlz fans and Jamaicans as a whole, because obviously there's national pride involved. I think everybody knew that it was going to be a difficult game for sure. Obviously, the Americans are the best team in the world when it comes to women's football, and the most successful team in the world when it comes to women's football. However, to be honest with you, I didn't think it was going to be as difficult as it proved to be. I think the girls grotesquely underperformed. I know America is the best team in the world, right? But given the performance that we would have seen our girls put up in last night's encounter, I think the girls are better than that. Obviously, our girls are not at the level of the Americans. But honest to God, I don't think that the deficit in quality was that big as was what was on display last night. In terms of, I know that America is a better team than our Reggae Girlz in terms of the overall team, in terms of the collective. But from an individual player-for-player standpoint, I believe that there are Reggae Girlz on our team that are good enough to make the American team. Yes, America is better than our girls, but you would think that America was playing some Baccabush side last night. Some side where they 200th in the world rankings last night. Given what the girls did, I thought they had the potential to give off a much better performance and a much better showing of themselves against this American giant team, given the individual quality that we have in our ranks. The game, we would have played in an attacking transition, we played 4-2-3-1. And in defensive transition, God he knows what we're playing, to be honest with you. Yo, Jaja, God he knows what we're playing. And I'll explain that in a second. The Americans, on the other hand, was the starting formation was a 4-3-3, and in build-up play that would evolve into a 2-3-2-3. The number 8 steps up to join the number 10. The fullback step up into midfield. I say that God he knows in defensive transition what we're playing, because honestly, I saw the shape in defensive transition change so many times during that game. It was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that before. I mean, it's not unusual to see team shape change in defensive transition, but so many times during the game. If on a 4-4-2, a 4-4-1-1, if on a 4 at the back, a 5 at the back, 5-3-2, 5-4-1 with a flat midfield 4, then we see like a 5-1-3-1. It was all over the place. Sometimes we see 4-2-3-1 in defensive transition. Lorne Donaldson got to the point where he was just throwing up anything against the wall, trying to see what would stick. It was unreal. It was just constantly changing. We started the game very flat, ladies and gentlemen. Very flat, right? Almost as if we were deer in headlights, starstruck by this big American team. And we just never recovered. We never recovered. And I thought that where the American team is right now, I think that this was an opportunity for us to give a much better performance against them than we have ever done, especially coming off of that high against the Mexicans. One of the things that surprised me initially from the game, from I saw the starting 11, was there was no CDM. And I was like, what the hell is going on? How can we be playing the best team in the world and there is no CDM on the park? Salone was all over the place in the Mexico game. The gaffer put Chinyalu Asha to start beside her in the pivot. How can we be playing the best team in the world and we do have a defensive-minded midfielder in the pivot? We saw even in the Mexico game, even when a lot of the players were coming down the wide channels, we saw Drew Spence going out to the wide channels, providing coverage and breaking up plays in the wide channels. Whichever channel, a lot of the times, whichever channel the Mexicans, the wide channel, whichever one the Mexicans were making a foray down, Drew Spence, in most occasions, was over on that flank, breaking up, providing coverage. So it struck me as really odd. Look, the gaffer said that, rest for Spence and she had the Mexico game was like her first game in a couple of months. She was a bit leggy, rotation in the tournament. Look, I'm not a fitness guru, I'm not a fitness expert, so I won't challenge him on that. And there were complaints of the girls not being up to the standard from a fitness standpoint. So, but boy, if it's even for start Samson, I mean, credit to him, he brought on Samson at halftime in the CDM position. But I would have why even start the game without a CDM? Why start the game without a CDM? And then, after the first 15 minutes, we did take off Salone, big and serious. I mean, in defensive transition, at times the shape was it was crazy, man. It was crazy. Even on occasions when the Americans were progressing the ball throughout the half spaces, the gaps in midfield, especially in like the first 20 minutes of the game, Salone, Asha, no protection for the back line whatsoever. They are not defensive-minded midfielders. So, oh boy, me no know. The lack of energy from this Reggae Girlz team was appalling. The girls were flat from minute 1 to minute 94, when you had an extra time. The lack of energy from the girls, the lack of intensity, no desire. You think coming off of that high against Mexico, the girls would have gone out here energized and enthused to get out here and get a result to seal qualification. Merciful Father, man, the amount of space the Americans were given to play. No matter what the shape Donaldson tried, it wasn't working. The Americans were constantly breaking our lines. The amount of space being given to the Americans were ridiculous. There was no pressure on the ball, no pressure on final passes, not getting close to the Americans in the middle of the park, trying to limit the amount of space the Americans have to play. It was like a literal cakewalk. It was a walk in the park. Ladies and gentlemen, this could easily have been a 10-0, It was that bad, It could easily have been a 10-0. Quite a number of goals that the Americans scored were disallowed, particularly for offside, right? America hit the bar, the post, all of them things there. Rebecca Spencer again, from a shot-stopping standpoint, made a number of very, very good saves in the game. That is why it wasn't an utter embarrassment. The girls could not hold the ball, they could not keep the ball. Where is the structure in attacking transition? No patterns of play, no patterns of movement. The girls could not evade the pressure of the Americans, who couldn't even keep the ball for any amount of time. to be able to break up the American rhythm, so to speak. It was just wave after wave after wave. Individual errors as well cost us big time in this particular game. Individual errors. Too many mistakes, too many individual errors on the part of the girls. I don't understand. It's like the girls them just go out there and see this big mighty US team and was just shell-shocked. Positional play of a number of the girls, right? We saw unbalanced defense at times, unbalanced midfield line. It was just shocking. Poor positional play, mistakes, fullbacks not closing down crosses, fullbacks, defenders, midfielders, pivots not tracking runs. The movement of the Americans destroyed our Reggae Girlz. You'd never believe some of these Reggae Girlz are playing at the highest level. You'd think of the first time they must see them sort of dynamic movement here. At times the movement caused our Reggae Girlz at the back and in our midfield line to be at 6s and 7s all over the place. Honestly, man, it was unreal, man. It was unreal just how difficult it was for the Reggae Girlz. Just how they just looked like there was a galaxy between these two teams, that they were worlds apart. And I don't think our Reggae Girlz, on paper, individual, man for man, our Reggae Girlz were better than what took place. Poor coaching as well. Look, I wasn't one of those to be raving about Donaldson after the Mexico game, Not saying he didn't do some good things in the Mexico game, but I wasn't all that overly convinced, and obviously we needed more time to see, more of what Donaldson would have to bring this time around. I want to show you guys something before we get out of here. Look at the table, ladies and gentlemen. You know that Haiti just had a big 3-0 victory over the Mexicans. Look at the goal difference on your screen. Look at the goal difference. Haiti is on 0 goal difference. 3 scored, 3 conceded. By the way, Haiti put up a very good showing against the Americans, even though they lost that game 3-0. They were far more competitive than us. Right? Was it a case that the Americans raised their level for this game? Or was it a case that Haiti was just such a difficult opponent in the first game? Look at the table. Haiti has leapfrogged us based on goal difference. A draw will not be enough versus Haiti, because a draw versus Haiti in the next game would mean that we are on 4 points apiece. And obviously they would go through on goal difference. Well, they would get that automatic spot and we'd have to go to the continental playoffs. The worst result that could have taken place in that Mexico-Haiti game took place. Haiti thrashed Mexico. Mexico out of it, basically. They would have to dream of getting a big result against the US, which more than likely won't happen. We are going to have to come out with all guns blazing in that Haiti game. The girls must raise their energy levels, must raise their intensity, must go out there and play like it's the end of the world if them lose this game. But guys, knock up like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Take care, guys. Stay safe, and until next time, hopefully our Reggae Girlz can go out against Haiti and put up a big performance, because we really and truly now want to go the continental playoffs. We want to get it done right now. And as good as Haiti is, I believe that we are a better team. On paper, we have no excuses not to win that particular game. But the Haitians, big team, serious team, we have to take them extremely seriously. They have looked good in this tournament thus far. So guys, that's again, take care and stay safe, and until next time.